this like 6 months in the Delhi University?
Really different. It's actually almost like heaven and earth.
How many A plus or O's you get in your report card? It's more about.
All universities abroad do offer some kind of scholarship, whether it be a sports scholarship.
Hi everyone, welcome back to IUS YouTube channel. So guys, studying abroad is a dream for many, but for some, financial barriers can make it seem impossible. Today, we bring you an inspiring story of someone who made it happen on a full scholarship. Let's dive into her journey, how she did it, and her experience at the Deakin University. Welcome, Rishika. We are so excited to have you here. First off, how's life treating you in Australia?
So, sir, it's pretty great here in Australia, a bit different from India, but otherwise a new experience. Like it's fun exploring life here.
Amazing. So, how does it feel to live abroad for the first time and that too on your own?
It's an interesting experience because, like, obviously, Indian children are coddled. So it's like you're suddenly doing everything on your own from grocery shopping to traveling to coming home and like cooking your own meals. But like I said, it's an enlightening experience, something like you really need to do to go out and about and actually become your grow into yourselves, you could say.
Got it. So, Rishika, earlier this week, during your conversation, you mentioned that you come from an army background, right? Your parents are in army. So, moving around and adapting to new places isn't something new to you. But what made you take this leap to study abroad, especially by yourself?
So in India, like what I found in education in India is kind of set for us. It's like a set pathway. You have to do a
Mm,
particular combination of subjects, and you're not allowed to delve into different streams. Like since a child, I was always interested in both commerce as well as the humanity aspect of studies. So economics and international relations were always my fields of interest. So Australia actually allowed me to explore these two as well as all other fields to actually consider for future possibilities which would not have been
mm.
possible for me in India. So that's exactly why I wanted to study in Australia.
Got it. And also that day you mentioned that one of your biggest motivators to study abroad was to challenge yourself and to see where you stand on a global level. Can you tell us more about that?
So basically, we have always like grown up in one school, and despite the fact that I traveled a lot, it
Mm,
was always just a batch of say 40 children in one class or entire sections, which was like barely 120 children I was comparing myself to. I didn't know the level at which I stood. I wanted to see what my exact standing was when I was out in the open because, like they say, it's like a small pond a fish is swimming in and it's suddenly
mm,
thrust into a wide ocean. So I wanted to give myself that opportunity to know whether, like you could say, it was a kind of a thing to boost my own self-confidence to know where I standed, like where I stood. So basically,
mm. Got it. Got it. And also, Rishika, like I'll let the viewers know at this point that Rishika holds a 100% scholarship at the Deakin University, right? So studying abroad isn't cheap, and finances are a major hurdle for many students. Yet here you are on a full scholarship. Can you walk us through how you made it happen?
so basically what happened with me was, my parents being army officers, weren't obviously, like we were a middle class family.
Mm,
My parents always supported me, but they were like, we can't exactly finance your study abroad. And I also didn't want to burden them. I just wanted to apply to colleges and see where I stood. So I got through colleges, but I was like, the fees are too high and I can't study there. Uh, but it turns out, like after a bit of research and everything, I realized that all universities abroad do offer some kind of scholarship, whether it be a sports scholarship or academic scholarship. And I was like, why not try it out? Because no
mm,
harm, you weren't losing anything. So I approached Varun sir and I was like, sir, is there any way to finance it apart from like getting a loan or anything?
mm,
So and in Feb, Deakin releases its scholarship forms and you're like, let's fill them out. So for me, it was kind of nerve wracking and yet kind of easygoing because I wasn't sure whether I would get it, but it didn't affect me. So
mm. Okay, okay. And you also mentioned that you studied at Delhi University for like 6 months while awaiting the scholarship, right? Was that a backup plan or were you always set on studying abroad?
so yeah, that was kind of my original plan. I got my scholarship before the results for DU was released. So, but what happened was, since I was underage at that time, I had just
Okay.
turned 17, and they were like, we don't have any housing options available for underage kids. So they deferred my scholarship for the next trimester. And I didn't want to pay for one trimester there, so I was like, I'll just study in DU for 6 months and see. So if
Mm.
in case I like DU better, I would have stayed there.
Got it. Got it. So it wasn't like it's a mix of backup plan and let's await the scholarship as well. Yeah.
No,
Got it. Got
nothing
it.
like that.
Right. Right. And you've mentioned that getting a scholarship isn't just about accolades, right? It's not about the achievement that the person has. As I remember, you told me that you were put in a group where there were like national level athletes. There were some people who had brilliant Olympiads and other medals, right? So it's
Yeah,
about how you present yourself. So would you like to
true.
enlighten more about that?
Okay, so like scholarship, because your admissions are based on your marks, but scholarships are
Mm,
much more than that. It all depends on what you have done with your school life apart from your academics. So while academics are necessary, they are not your whole life. They want to see
mm.
how you can contribute to the university as well. So they'll care about other things, say the sports you have participated in, the scholarships, the competitions you have ever participated in. Say if you have ever published anything in a newspaper or anything, because that shows that you're willing to put yourself out there, that you are confident in yourself.
Okay.
It also gives them an opportunity to assess you as a human being as a whole instead of just a student, because in the end your scholarship is also means that you are kind of like the face of the university at that moment. You
Mm.
become an ambassador for them, where they put you forward in other situations to help you inspire other people, or to say represent them in official events and such.
Got it. Sure. So it's not about like how many A plus or O's you get in your report card. It's more about how you develop yourself as a person and how you put that story in front of the committee to get a scholarship, right? It's about what you are offering to the university as well, not just the marks and the grades, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rishika, you also mentioned that SOPs are a huge part of application. Can you share what worked for you particularly and any keys, do's and don'ts that students should keep in mind while applying for the scholarships and admissions?
Okay, so like nowadays everyone approaches ChatGPT for it, but I find that kind of didn't work for me. So I approached it by the traditional method, by actually writing it on a pen and paper.
Hmm.
And I realized that being honest about who you are, actually showcasing what you like, what you actually enjoy doing, your hobbies apart from academics, what all you did in your school life, about how, say, you were part of a club or society,
Mm.
um, how your view on the world, it also helps, because it's showing the university that you care about something more than just yourself.
Yeah.
For me, my essay was all about why I like my SOP actually included why I wanted to do a particular course, why I felt that I wanted to actually merge economics with international relations, how it helped fundamentally a country as well as the entire world as an entire, like, as one sphere, you could say.
Okay. So the key takeaway that I take from your what you suggested is like even from the previous version, don't try to be someone who you are not. Rather, focus on who you are and who you want to become. Right? It's not about hiding like what you've done or what you, let's say, think of is not very relevant to the application process. Just take it and see how you can make it relevant to the application and just put it forward as who you are, right?
Exactly. Just to add a little
Mm.
thing,
Hmm.
what happens is like even the smallest activity you do, say it's just a group project you
Mm.
did, it teaches you something. Like there are some key takeaways, like say
Right.
teamwork. It could teach you how to work with people of different backgrounds, different cultures,
Mm.
different societies. So things like that are also great takeaways, key points, which actually enhance your application. So even something which might seem mundane in everyday life for you, they might actually enhance your application.
That's really I was about to ask you like one golden tip for like writing an SOP that stands out, but I think you have already mentioned it with this one that you have like hit the ball out of the park with this one. Thank you for this one. Yeah. So like once you got into Deakin, how different was the education system compared to what you had experienced here in India with this like 6 months in the Delhi University?
Really different. It's actually almost like heaven and earth.
Oh. Hmm.
Delhi University, or like the Indian education system, still focuses on your books. On the other hand, studying in Australia, especially depending on the subject, like international relations, it's a completely
Hmm.
theoretical subject. That means it is more research based. Here, we are not only supposed to research, say, books. We have to
Hmm.
research newspaper articles, journal articles, and other small clips. It could be WhatsApp, Twitter, anything that could further
Okay.
substantiate it. Here we are allowed to express ourselves in any way we like. It could be contradicting the professor itself, but it's
Hmm.
just like you need to support your argument well, and and they really look down on plagiarism. So, say suppose
Got
if
it.
you actually wrote down even a definition from the book, they'll be
Uh,
like, it's plagiarism. You can't do
oh,
that.
got it,
Yeah.
got it. So it's not like you can refer to book or for like some paragraph of it. You have to be your authentic self. You have to bring out yourself.
So they that's what they say. They say it's not, you're not writing their views. You're trying to express
Mm,
your views. So if you're
yeah.
using a quote or say referencing a book, it is
Mm.
exactly that. It's a reference. It's not the entire essay.
Got it. Got it. You also mentioned about the peer and the unit mentoring at Deakin, right? How was that? Like, how has that helped you not just in your academics, but in settling in Australia?
Okay, so Deakin has two things. One is the peer mentoring, which is for
Hmm.
new students. So the first trimester you are in Deakin, you can actually go to your faculty and enroll in peer mentoring, and you will get one or two mentors, depending on the size of your group, who
Mm.
guide you through different everyday aspects of life at Deakin and Australia. So
Okay.
they'll suggest, say, how to navigate your library portal, or how to get to your classes, or say budgeting in Australia, where you can actually
Mm.
get groceries for cheap and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the second thing is pass, which is a system which I think it's unique to Deakin, because what they
Mhm.
do is for every unit you study in Deakin, they have some people who have already studied it in the previous trimesters who have scored high distinction to teach it to you. So in the evenings, it's like they go over the entire subject matter of that week to help you approach it better, because it's like you're doing it with someone who has already studied the unit instead of just someone who has taught it. So they're
Yeah.
able to relate to you more, and they're able to help you on how they did their assignments. They can guide you through the various, I can you can say, the various methods they used.
Got it.
And another thing is, if you're a scholarship student in Deakin, which I think I didn't mention
Hmm.
last time, is
Hmm.
that if you're a scholarship student in Deakin, we have a program called the VCPP, which is a
Okay.
specific program for vice chancellor scholars.
Hmm.
So that it's basically a program within which you get an academic mentor, which is a professor in this university who is exclusively a guide to you and a mentor to you.
Oh, okay.
Apart from that, yeah, apart from that, we also have VCPP members also have various, say, workshops dedicated on building your professional as well as your personal skills. So like
Mm.
recently I just had a workshop on personality development, communication, about, say, impersonation syndrome, and
Mm.
say, like the effects of impersonation syndrome in everyday life, and about how leadership plays an effective role in your life.
Mm.
So we have such workshops to help you develop skills which is not only useful for your professional life but also in your everyday, day-to-day life and your assignments and stuff. So it's really
Got it.
helpful.
That's wonderful. Now, a quick question comes to my mind on a like a personal note, personal side. I wonder what difference would your friends and family members would have seen after, like, from coming to Australia and going back to India. But like, I want
Oh,
to explore the side of what has the VCPP program inculcated in Rishika and how has it changed Rishika?
okay. So, like, I guess the biggest difference they saw was like I was coming more into myself. Earlier,
Mm.
I might have actually held back on my words or thought twice before speaking something, but now it's like I'm more open, I'm more ready to accept myself as a person, I'm ready to accept what I like, and I'm able to draw a line between things what I dislike. So earlier
Mm.
I was
Okay.
kind of a people pleaser. I was like, yeah, I want to do this and I will do this, and if you want me to do this, yes, I'll help you. But
Mm.
nowadays it's more like I learned to say no, you could say.
Got it. Got it. So it was something that there was in you, but like the VCPP program helped it come out of you, right?
Yeah, it taught me like often it's better to think about yourself also in certain situations.
Mm.
While it is good to help others, while it is good to be there for others, there are certain situations in which you have to put yourself forward. So,
Got it. Got it. Thank you for sharing that, Rishika. So, Rishika, many students worry about the career prospects after university, like after graduation, and especially the international students, it's very important to them. How does Deakin support students in finding jobs or settling in Australia?
okay, so basically, Deakin has a website called Deakin Talent. It's
Hmm.
like they have a separate team contracted from outsiders as well as people, employees of Deakin itself, who help
Okay.
you go over your various career prospects. So they have everything
Hmm.
from like your CV development to a career counseling session, which can help you decide what you want to do in life, to career showcases in which various companies come in and showcase, like put on showcases about, and you can just register your interest in those companies that you
Mm.
want to
Okay.
work there. So the team actually works 24/7. You can reach them through mail, or you can set up an on-campus or a online meeting with them as well. And you can start as early as your first year for that.
Hmm.
So it's like
Okay.
a support throughout the years. You can slowly build your CV. You can go and like approach them, make your CV, just submit it and say that I want your feedback on it. What all do you think I should include for a particular role? So that helps.
Got it. So, so far from what I've gathered from you, it seems like Deacon is very focused on getting a very holistic development of the student, not just with the grades. It's all about the personality as well and helping them out in the career aspect, getting them a job and getting them like so fine-tuned in the career perspective as well. So it's so amazing to hear about what Deacon has to offer. On a side note, what are your career goals, like you were mentioning, and how are you preparing for them?
So, like many of the students my age, I don't have something set in stone. But
Hmm.
as I mentioned, my degree is actually Bachelor's of Commerce and Bachelor's of International Studies. But I
Hmm.
realized that I want to major in economics and international relations in particular.
Hmm.
So, this does open a lot of opportunities for me, but perhaps the major two I'm either focusing on is either joining the UN, because I'm
Hmm.
really interested in that aspect, or going into investment banking, which is another aspect that actually interests me. So,
Got it. Got
broadly
it.
speaking, these two.
Got it. So let's switch the gears a little bit here. Imagine that you're talking to a student who is brilliant but hesitant to apply for a study abroad scholarship. Maybe they think they're not
Okay.
good enough or there's a fear of rejection. You just have
Uh,
30 seconds to convince them to go for it. Let's go.
okay. So, if you feel like you're not enough, that's what every student feels. Everyone is nervous about applying to it. What's the worst that could happen? It's like you won't get a scholarship. Nothing. It's not like it's the end of the world. It is much better to apply and see where you stand rather than be hesitant and missing that opportunity. You don't get opportunities like that every day in life. So if you know about a scholarship, there's no harm in applying. And everyone has a backup option, even you'll have one. So what's the point of a backup if you feel like you won't fall back to it? So I'll suggest applying for it, because at least, at the very least, you'll know it won't be in your mind that you didn't do it. It won't feel like a missed or slipped opportunity, and you won't regret it late in your life.
Hmm.
Because trust me, regret comes. It comes really bad. I've seen a lot of students here who were hesitant about applying for it. They were like, there's just barely like 8 scholarships for normal academic students and all. And they are like, I don't want to apply. I don't know what I'll do. There are a lot of people. But what you need to realize, you can be also be one of those 8. Who is to know?
Hmm.
But even nobody is like, it's not like you're pinpointed already that only you will get it. Nobody says that. So there's no harm in applying. And the other thing is, if you have worked that hard in your school life, if you know you have a particular standing, if you know that you can earn good grades and stuff, what's the harm in applying? It's just another way of checking your standing. It's another test. It's another exam you have to give. And in this exam, it doesn't matter whether you pass or fail. It is just about representing yourself. It's just to show people that yes, you're not less than anyone else.
That was amazing. That was amazing, Rishika. While you were saying all that there, right? I was just like I remembered a line from the movie The Art of Racing in the Rain that just resonated with what you said. There is no dishonor in losing a race, but there is dishonor if you don't participate in the race just because of the fear of losing. So
True. That's
that's
very true.
exactly what I think sums it all up. Just take the chance, just take that step forward. You worked so hard until now. Why do you want to shy away from the opportunity just because you think you might not make it? What if you make it, right? There are two what ifs. What if you
Exactly.
make it? What if you don't make it? On the one hand, you have a
Always
lot to gain, and then the other, you don't have much to lose. You don't have anything to lose.
Exactly. That's exactly what I feel, because, like they say, it can either be a glass half full or a glass half empty. It's your
Yeah,
perspective, what you choose to focus on. So I say it's
true.
much better to have an optimistic approach to life. So,
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Rishika. Your journey is super, super inspiring, and many students watching might want to follow in your footsteps. So, like, before we go and like close this video, what's your biggest advice for students dreaming for studying abroad but worried about their finances?
so first would be, there's no harm in approaching people for help.
Mm,
They might think of an other alternative for financing your studies that you might never have thought of. So, and most universities abroad do have scholarships. So don't be afraid to just look it up, to search more about it. or to get in contact with people who are already there. All of them are willing to reach out to you to help you. It's just like you have to take the first step to approach them.
Mm,
Second, I would suggest is that if you find a scholarship and if you're like it's just like 4 spots or 8 spots, apply for it. You never know. Apply for every single scholarship you come across because you never know which one you get. And often there are other like outside sponsors also who often
mm,
finance, and you find them all on your university's website. So not no harm in reaching out to them as well because it's helpful for them as well. So
got it.
and apart from that, it's like it's not that marks are not important. Please focus on your grades as well. But grades are not everything. So
Mm,
if you ever say you slipped in something and it's like people do that. People say till year 11 I had amazing grades and 12th I somehow slipped. Not the end of the world. That focus on something you are good at. So make a CV, a resume, do short courses, do webinars, do workshops, something to develop your other skills which could further prove beneficial to you on your journey. So
yes.
that's what I would suggest.
Thank you so much. Your story proves that with the right mindset, preparation, and approach, anything is possible. Thank you for sharing your journey, Rishika. I'm sure it's going to inspire so many students. Thank you for taking your time for interviewing with us today. And for those of you who are watching, if you're applying for scholarships or have any questions about studying abroad, drop them in the comments below, and we'll make sure to get you the best insights. Thank you.